guys, welcome back to Beauty Fortified. I'm Sue. If you're new here, welcome. I make hair care, skincare and makeup videos for the more mature woman. Today I thought I would share a little technique that I use for my hooded eyes. Now my eyes are fairly hooded and are kind of getting a little bit worse as I get older. And so I've got a little technique that I use to give the illusion of a more kind of wide-eyed, awake, open-eyed look. Now this technique takes a little bit of practice, but once you've got it down pat, it will probably take you less than 5 minutes. So there is a little bit of practice involved, but I'm going to show you how I do this in a few easy steps. So if you'd like to see how I got this look, keep on watching. Hooded eyes can be defined as eyes that do not have a lot of visible lid space. So as you can see with my eyes, I have a limited amount of visible lid space, and then my upper eyelid, there's quite a lot of give there, so it kind of falls onto my visible lid. Some people are born with hooded eyes. It's a genetic thing, can be, or it can be something that gets a little bit worse the older that you get. So the purpose of the tutorial is just to show you how you can open up that lid space and just give the illusion of having more lid space and a more open, wide awake looking eye. To start off with, I'm going to use a little bit of powder on the lid just to make sure that I have taken away all the oils. So I'm just going to use a little bit of the Maybelline Fit Me, and I'm going to use a small powder brush, and I'm just going to powder the upper lid, and this is just going to help the shadows to blend more easily. And then to start off with, I'm going to be using a matte transition shade. So I'm going to be going in with a MAC eyeshadow, and this is called Wedge, and it's just a kind of neutral crease color. And I'm going to be taking that onto a medium-sized blending brush or crease brush, and this is the MAC 217. So I'm just going to dip that into the shade, and then I'm going to go just above the crease, and I'm just going to blend that out just to give us a little bit of definition. And it's best to use matte shadows because we don't want any shimmer on the upper lid, because we want to knock back the upper lid to give the illusion of more lid space. Then once I'm happy with that, I'm going to go in with a darker shade, and for that I'm going to use a smaller blending brush just to give me a little bit more precision, because now I'm going to carve out the crease. And for this I'm going to be using a fairly dark MAC shadow, and this is also matte, and this is in the color Embark. So I'm going to take a little bit of this on the brush, and I'm going to tap off the excess. Just makes it a little bit easier to work with once you've tapped off anything that's going to generate some fallout. And then just starting at the outer corner of the crease, I'm just going to gently define the crease. And then I'm going to take a little bit more of that matte shade in Embark, and I'm just going to put some in the outer corner of the eye. And this will just give a little bit more definition. And then I'm going to take a bigger blending brush, and I'm just going to blend the crease colors together just so that there are no harsh edges, just in windscreen wiper motions. Then I'm going to take a little bit of concealer. Now you need to use a concealer that is fairly thick and not too runny, so fairly robust. So I'm using the L'Oreal Infallible Concealer, and I'm going to take a little bit of this onto a small concealer brush, so it looks like that. This has got quite a big doe foot applicator, so I don't want to go in with this onto my eyelid because it's going to get a little bit messy. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this on the brush, and then I'm just going to gently dab this onto my top lid, just above the eyelashes. Just going to put a little bit on like that. And then I'm going to blink my eye. I'm going to move my eyes, and you will see that the concealer has kind of transferred a little bit to the upper lid, which is a good thing. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take an even smaller defining brush. It looks like this, and I'm going to work this concealer into the first 2/3 of the eye. So I'm just going to take it and gently move it around so that it's covering the first 2/3 of the eye. And then where it's gone up into the crease, I'm going to work with that, and I'm going to create a cut crease. So we're going to cheat the crease just to make it look a little bit higher than it actually is. So I'm just taking this very gently. And just moving it around and creating a kind of line there. And then just here I'm going to make sure that it's blended. Well, not so much blended as make sure that it's covering this area, because we're not trying to blend it out. And I'm just going to carry on defining that crease with the concealer, bringing it right into the corner of the eye. And you can go a little bit higher into the crease with the concealer if you wanted to, if you are feeling brave. But I think that that's perfect because it is already opening up the eye and increasing the illusion of the lid space. So I'm just going to let that set. So once I'm happy that that has set, I'm going to go back in with this little precision brush, and I'm just going to dip it back into Wedge, which was the first color that we put all over the lid. Just going to take a little bit of that on the brush, and I'm just going to enhance the line where the concealer meets the upper lid, just above the concealer. Just going to go in with this shadow just to create a crisper line. And then I'm going to go onto the lid with This is just a nice flat eyeshadow lid brush, and I'm going to go in with quite a light shade, and this again will also help just to open up the eye, because now we've created this illusion of openness, and so we want to go in with something that's quite light and that's just going to keep the eye looking more awake and more open. So I'm going in with another MAC. This is a matte shadow in Tete tint, quite a neutral, like a beigey, peachy color. I'm just going to take a little bit of that on the brush, and then I'm just going to gently pat that all over the concealer. And I'm also going to take it onto the upper lid where we've got the rest of the concealer, just to disguise the concealer. Once I'm happy with that, I'm going to go back in with my small defined eyeshadow blending brush, and I'm going to take a tiny bit more of the MAC Embark, the dark shade, and I'm just going to clean up the outer corner of the lid, just to add a little bit more definition, and then also just to gently diffuse the color where the concealer ended, just in very light motions, and then again just taking this slightly up into the crease. Then I'm going to go back in with my blending brush, and I'm just going to blend. Then for the lower lid, I just want a little bit of definition on the lower lid. The darker you go on the lower lid, the smaller it's going to make your eyes. So I want to keep the illusion of this wide awake effect. So I'm going to be going in with a pencil brush, and I'm going to be using again the transition shade Wedge, just taking a little bit of this on the brush, and I'm just going to lightly define the lower lid. And then I'm going to just take a tiny bit of the dark shadow, just for the outer third of the lower lid, just for a hint of definition. And then just to open up the eye a little bit more, I'm going to take a matte shade for the brow bone. So I'm going to use, this is just a flat topped eyeshadow brush, and I'm going to take a matte, this is a Wet n Wild shade from one of their palettes. I'm going to be going in with the matte highlight shade, and I'm just going to gently pat that under the brow, and this will just help to further give the illusion of wide awake, open eyes. And then for mascara, I'm going to apply 2 coats of mascara. And what you'll need to do with hooded lids is just to gently lift the lid while you are putting on the mascara. So by doing that, you're just going to create a little bit of tension in the lid, and that's to stop the mascara from getting onto the upper lid. then with whatever is left on the mascara wand, I'm going to take this onto the lower lash line. So guys, you can see that this technique is really not complicated. It just takes a little bit of practice. But honestly, once you've mastered it, you will be absolutely amazed at the difference that it can make to hooded eyes and how it can just kind of lift your eye and just give you that wide open, awake effect. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe, and I will see you next time. Ciao, ciao.